was like, Mama, I'd love to have you with you, but there's no good medical care. They go to Dallas, they have to drive an hour and a half to get to good medical care. So if they need a specialist, it's a specialty.
Oh no,
So
whoa, whoa,
he's like,
I'll get it, don't worry.
oh yeah, Minneapolis has everything. It has Mayo Clinic. I mean, I've got everything. So yeah, no, it's been great. I've had really good care there. So it's been wonderful for me, and I also the climate is so much better. I can't take the heat in Florida, and it's like endless heat. It's you can't go out, and when you have a heart condition, it's like you really can't go out in 100-degree weather or 90-degree weather. I can't be out there. And exactly, which is always a challenge. It's good to see you. Um, yeah, okay, yeah, you and Gus. As soon as I'm here, the next question, when are you coming back? We'll see, we'll see. I'll talk to him, but like this was really good. Lindy, she's doing good. So she doesn't seem to be bearing any ill effects right now. It's early. She got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So, but she's doing good. Yeah, I got to see her Friday and Saturday. So, yeah, yeah, it's been lovely. Yeah, so we're talking about taking a trip together. So, yeah, and Gus can't fly, but so he wouldn't be able to go. But we're talking about going to Mexico together, which would be really fun. Yeah, so maybe next January we'll do that. But I guess it'll be after maybe come back out. I don't know if I'll come back out for another weekend in the fall. Maybe we'll see. I got my grandkids to visit. I hate to leave because I have two little dogs and one of them is very old. And I just hate to leave very long. It just makes me anxious. Anyway, so yeah, okay.
Good morning. Ooh, that had some vibration to it. Good morning, all. I am so grateful to be back here with you all this morning. I am Reverend Cara Fortner, and I am honored to serve this congregation as its minister. I see many new faces I haven't seen in a little while. I've been on vacation for the last 3 weeks, resting. Resting, rejuvenating, celebrating. I turned 40 like a boss. Went to California with my twin sister, and we got matching barn swallow tattoos, which are symbols of freedom and returning home, and mine is flying away from me. So I'm very pleased to be back and totally excited about a new church year and where UUCS is headed. So grateful to be here on this drizzly, rather dreary morning. We are the sunlight, we are the sunshine that we need to carry us through. I am grateful also today to be joined by Reverend John, our affiliated minister, who has been such a wonderful presence to you all in this community for many years, and a steady transition for myself here. We are going to be doing a question box service today, which is my first question box service. If you have not done a question box service or participated in one, could you raise your hand? Oh, I'm not alone. So many new folks to this practice, which is really great. So hopefully you received an index card when you walked through the door. If not, we will get you an index card. Raise your hand if you did not get an index card. All right, Terry is on it. Thank you, Terry. We'll get you those, and we'll guide you through it. So there's going to be opportunity to think about what kind of question you might want to ask, and these are questions that are coming to Reverend John and myself. So maybe we can't answer, the kind of questions that like an astronomer might answer or a mathematician. So something maybe a Unitarian Universalist minister might have the answer to would be appreciated, and we will do our best to answer to the best of our ability. And I'll guide us through that at a time for all ages. So we will get there. We got our cards out, and you can write multiple questions. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Let us be present here in this moment, be grateful for today, and bring ourselves into this space and time for worship. Let us sing our opening hymn together. Come, come, whoever you are. Please rise in body or spirit as you are able. We're going to do it in a bit of a round. We're going to have the lyrics up here on the slide. And so we'll sing it through first once, and then I'm going to split us in half. So the left half of the room, for you it's the right. You all will keep going at the first, and then the second half will bring you in for when that time comes. All right? We'll do our best. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Now, first half. Come, come, whoever you are. Second. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Lovely, keep going. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Sterling, to both those in person and those online. My name is Jack Azurgian, and I am honored to serve this congregation as the Board of Trustees. I'm also grateful today to have Reverend John joining us for our question box service. So welcome to this place of fellowship and peace, renewal and deepening, engagement and reflection. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your identity, age, ability, or history, know that you are welcome to bring your full self here. If you are a visitor, we are so glad that you are here. You are invited to join us for an in-person fellowship or virtual coffee hour after today's service. To learn more about Unitarian Universalist Church of Sterling or about Unitarian Universalism, you're welcome to reach out to me. Finally, I would like to invite you to share a greeting with those around you, those whom you know and those whom you have yet to meet. So please mingle. So we're all set for a meeting with Reverend Tyler Cole. Is it, I mean, I don't know what is expected, so I don't know.
In that meeting?
Yeah. Or what he expects for the 15th.
Well, I think that's what we'll figure out in that conversation.
So the other thing, on the 15th, are we limiting attendees to only those who are head of committees in the board? What about other people that have, like I don't like to know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so we can talk to Tyler about that, but he said it's really kind of up to us. And we're just, I mean, I don't want to be exclusive, but I just want it to be, you know, the folks who are making the doing the work with the leadership of the church. So,
Which, I guess that's reference to the announcement, but I'll make sure that's stressed. It's not a potluck is open to everyone. thought it was the 4th or 5th.
Security team, 1 o'clock, Tuesday the 4th is what I know.
Oh, yes, that's it. Okay, so the thing is, I developed a presentation, I got feedback, I cut it back, so the presentation's like 8 slides only, but all the other slides that show the details forward, which we don't have to show. But if someone wants all the data, you can send them the file. Just to let you know. So the thing is, how you want to take the data and engage people in a bigger discussion of who we are and how we interact with the community. I refer to you as how you But we just want to make sure it's a smooth segue. Again?
Well,
I think we need a new membership book. I don't know. Huh? Now, let us share worship with reverence and authenticity.
We believe that many streams join to make a river, that the way to wisdom lies in an open ear and heart, that goodness may be pursued for the sake of goodness and not from fear of punishment, that knowing and not knowing are part of the same, and ambiguity is permissible.
Please rise and body your spirit for our chalice lighting song, number 1020, Wo Ya Ya. The words will be on the screen. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we're going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Good morning. So, about 2 weeks ago, I made an unplanned visit to the dentist. And it's funny, there was a moment when I was at the dentist and I'm sitting in the chair and I'm in the room alone. I'm waiting for the implant specialist to come see me for a quick consult. And I'm feeling sorry for myself. You know, I hate dental stuff, and so here I was. But as I was sitting there, I realized, well, when I came in, there was a person already in one of the other rooms, getting a crown put on. And the implant specialist was working on another person. There was someone waiting beside me. And then I started thinking, well, this whole dental thing, this is kind of part of the human condition, right? No matter who we are, where we are, we all have teeth issues sooner or later. It's like this is a mark that we're part of the human family, that we are connected. And because we know this, we can commiserate with each other. We can comfort each other. And in the same way, the ritual of sharing our sorrows and joys invites us to hear one another and to heal one another. So you're invited to share briefly great losses or milestones, teeth. You can share losses of teeth if you want. Thank you. If you're in the sanctuary, I invite you to come forward and share your name and your joy or sorrow. And if you're online, share in the chat, and I will pull that up on YouTube. So please.
Hi, I'm Denise, and I wanted to share that on August 8th, which is next Saturday, my husband and I will have been married 50 years. And we're really overjoyed to still be married. We will be in New York this week to celebrate with some relatives and my son who's coming from India, who's already here, and we will see him and do some fun things. So.
I'm Raj. I had a procedure that I'd never heard of. It's called sleep endoscopy. Apparently, they need to do this to decide whether I'm a candidate for Inspire implant for sleep apnea. So I had the sleep endoscopy, everything went well, and in a week's time, I'll see the ENT surgeon to figure out if the Medicare folks will approve the implant of Inspire for sleep apnea. If anybody's got Inspire, please talk to me because I'd love to know how it's gone for you.
Hi guys, I'm Brian. Wow, I can't remember the last time I was up here. Huh, okay. Those who know me know that I have been going through a process of relationship change, which is now complete. I am now officially divorced. That I have been living up on the top of the Bull Run Mountain, which was a great place to spend a year and get my headspace where I wanted it. And now it's time to come down off the mountain. Sorry, no tablets, but not this time. So anyway, I'm moving to Fair Lakes. So big changes, ultimately happy changes.
Hi, I'm Steve Leet. I'm a relatively new member of the congregation. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I used to work for NASA, now work for Northrop Grumman, and my joy is that a thing that I spent the last 8.5 years working on is now in orbit. It's the Mission Robotic Vehicle. First ever robotic, has 2 robot arms. It's going out to geosynchronous Earth orbit to do satellite servicing, and it's been a long time coming, first of its kind. It's a great accomplishment, happy about it.
Hi, I'm John, and I'm kind of a grandfather. I mean, in a surrogate way. So my partner has 2 grandchildren, and they're so cute. And I'm like We have had them over a number of times, and I'm just like melting every time I see them. And so they call her Nene, which in Chinese means grandma. And I'm waiting for Yeye, which is grandfather, but I'm fine with just John. So.
Hey, good morning. Hi, I'm Andrea Pierce. Jim, my husband, Jim Jackson, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for your prayers and your wishes around our daughter Celeste. She had a motorcycle accident the day of the picnic. When we were on our way home, we got the call from Loudoun County Sheriff. Anyway, she broke her leg in 3 places, hip and lower leg. She was in full gear and helmet. It saved her life. And the hospital was horrible. I mean, we had a great experience at Nova Loudoun, amazing, but 2 weeks around the clock and then 2 weeks in rehab. She had really great care. I can't say enough, but she's actually walking without a cane now. Her recovery has been incredible from being sort of down in the depths of hell. And she's hanging out with friends. I mean, she uses a walker if she needs to, and she uses a footed cane, but she's able to walk. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for reaching out. It was certainly a significant emotional event for our whole family. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Shelby. My family's had a pretty tricky summer, and thank you guys all so much for support. The good news is my induction, if you can't tell I'm pregnant, very pregnant, sweating, but it's Tuesday, so baby will be here this week, and any good vibes, prayers, send them our way. We're so excited and ready to not be pregnant. Really ready.
You know, someone once wrote about Shakespeare that every emotion that humans have experienced, you know, those emotions are present in Shakespeare. And I think about the same thing here. If you think about over time, the sharing of joys and sorrows, it's like all the experiences, all the joys, all the sorrows, in one way or another, they are present with us, part of this community. So let's put one more stone for those joys or sorrows that are held in the heart and too tender to be shared aloud. And now please join us in a moment of silence for prayer, meditation, or reflection as you are called.
For those who don't know, that hymn that was just played was Delica Aldus, which is an Transylvanian hymn, and It's one of my favorites, and I sing the words as it was going, and where there is God, there is no need. So I'm grateful that was our meditation song for today. We are now transitioning into a time for all ages. And as it is summer, the youngest child has yet to arrive. It will be here soon, though. He will be here soon. My children are at home sleeping. Actually, one is at a sleepover. But next week, they will be helping me with the time for all ages. So there will be at least 2 children here next week. But I thought today, all ages doesn't just mean children, and not even just today, but I like time for all ages because it is not just for children. It is a wonderful time for all of us and all of the different ages and stages of life that we are in to take a little bit more of a relaxed approach and maybe have a conversation. And today what I'm gonna ask you to do is think about questions. Have you asked any questions just this morning? Where are the slides? That was maybe a question I had. Maybe in the last week or 2 weeks, what kind of questions maybe came to your mind that you've thought up? Easy, do I have toothpaste? Or maybe you had a bigger question. What does it all mean? Why are we here? How can I keep going? In our tradition, in Unitarian Universalism, we are propelled by the questions that we have in this life. Curiosity, inquisitiveness, and seeking is core to our being, to how we function as a people, looking to say, this world that is around us is constantly changing. Let us be aware. Let us pay attention, and let us keep asking questions. So I know Unitarian Universalists are full of questions. And today, I invite you to ask a question. Write it down on your card if you have one that you might think might stump us. That could be fun. Or just anything that you think would be an interesting thing to know a little bit more about. For those of us who went to seminary for 1,000,000 years, which is what it felt like. So I invite you now to take a little bit of time, and when you are ready, if you have, and you don't have to write anything, if you want to write more than one question, let us know. We'll get you another card. When you're done with your question, and it's written on your card, just hold it up like this, and we will come around and collect them. Oh, all right, here we go. Oh, and for those who are online, we got some? Oh, great, we got it. We got you online. We're going to look at those too. So we have lots of questions here, which is wonderful. We will look over them over offering. Not all of them will get answered, and we will be thoughtful of time. We don't want to go over the hour, maybe a little bit if we're really chugging along and it's going well. So thank you all. Let's move on.
It is now time for our offering. In worship, we receive gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. May we now gladly give a portion of that bounty. 2/3 of the cash offerings will support our congregation, and the remaining 1/3 will go to support our justice cause. This month, our justice cause is the Congregation Action Network. Guided by the values of love and compassion, Congregation Action Network's mission is to build faith communities for collective action to support immigration, justice, and dignity. They seek to bring congregations together across lines of differences in order to build solidarity, cultivate hope, and take collective action in the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area. With faith leaders, they create networks of care, they train leaders, and they stand as a public witness towards a vision of justice and belonging. If you are in the sanctuary, you may place your donations in the baskets as they are being passed around. Online attendees can use the donate button in the virtual order of service. Donations may also be made by mail or via the donate tab on the UUCS homepage. There's also a QR code in the printed order of service that leads to that donate tab. Please note when your donation is towards your pledge. Thank you for your generosity to the congregation and to our community.
The reading this morning is number 241 from the book or collection, I think it's called Lifting Our Voices, and the author is Rainer Marie Rilke, and you need to study theology to know how to pronounce that name, I think. Rilke, okay. Mm-hmm. Have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to be able to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps someday, far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer.
So many good questions, and I've sorted through a couple. I had a chance to look, so I'll start, John, sorry. And I'm gonna start, there were a couple about afterlife. And this question says, is there life after death, as described by folks with near-death experiences? And then there was another one in here, I think I might have given it to you, and it was about, does the afterlife discussion, like, is it important today? Is it worth talking about? And I think these are really important questions. Is there life after death? I don't know. And as far as described by folks with near-death experiences, I think I don't have a lot of personal information about that. I've seen fiction and read some fiction around near-death experiences, but what I do know is that what our tradition and what multiple traditions approach to life after death, or more so dealing with the life of those who remain here on earth after death, is to think of more of what we do here on earth as a blessing. So no matter, there's a Jewish saying, may his memory be a blessing in memorial services. May her memory be a blessing. Because the mystery about who we are as people, our personalities, our bodies, I do think that that is temporary. And personally, I don't want to be Cara Fortner for eternity. But I don't have an answer to that, and I know that lots and lots of people have lots of different ideas about what happens after we die, and I think that there's no one that's particularly more valid, but I think that there are ones that are hurtful and harmful to the way that we live here on earth, which is what we are really aiming to do well within our tradition, and hoping that we can do a good job doing that here now.
I'd say, there's recently a study. They studied the brains of people who were, in the process of dying. And one thing they noticed is, as that time drew near, the part of the brain that is really into memory recall got super activated. And so this idea, they believe that this is something that people have reported, and they believe that this happens is there's like this life recall that happens at the end, this life review. And that really resonates with me because I did a chaplaincy, as part of my journey to the ministry. And whenever someone had experienced something traumatic, some health thing, basically as soon as I would walk in the room and introduce myself, they would begin doing a life review. They'd say, oh, I came to America in 1954. And I just sat and listened. And I always found that very moving because, a big part of our life is trying to understand the story that we're part of. The story that we're part of. And when I think about what happens after we die, we are part of this grander story. The lives we touch, the ripples that we've created, it's part of this grander story that goes on after us. And even though in time we will be forgotten, and yet our presence was there, our place in the story was there. And I find that very meaningful.
Do you want to do the next one? Start the next one? All right.
So how do I explain to my Christian friends what UU is, specifically Catholic friends? Well, actually, it's like, how do I explain to my mom and my brother, who's Orthodox Christian? And, what I typically say, and what I remind my mom on sort of a recurring basis, is, UUs, so we come here from different traditions, or we come here unchurched, as the word is. But what I think draws us here and holds us here are the values that we celebrate, and those values are found in many traditions and expressed in different ways in different traditions, and we're able to kind of draw on those. So we will draw on Christian scripture. We will, draw on the Bhagavad Gita, whatever it may be that expresses these values that bind us together. And so that's how I explain it to people, where we gather around these values that are found in most religious traditions. And my mom's not terribly satisfied with that, but
That's fair. I got a Catholic mom. I was raised Catholic, and it says, like, how do I talk? Is that what it says? Like, how do I explain?
Explain what you would.
So I think that really depends on how well you know the person you're talking to, because there are going to be talking points that are going to shut them off and be like, no way, like, I'm not interested in that at all. So that's helpful. One thing that I say, if I don't think the person is ready to fight me, is that we are a post-Christian tradition. We came out of a very strict reading of the Bible. We come from a very Christian beginning, and we took the parts that we thought were core to the historical Jesus's teachings, and we saw how they laid with similarities with other traditions that never had opportunity to come together, and our world is at a place it's never been before. So we are a post-Christian tradition that is formed by Christian values, and that is so much more than the trappings of Christianity. We aim to be, and we claim within our values, pluralism, which is still pretty new for us, so we're still finding language and a comfortableness to be able to express that. But I feel like we're broken wide open, and we are a religion for this age, for this time. Amen. Thank you. All right. Moving on. Let's move on. Oh, this one I love. It says, I consider myself to be an atheist. What should I do with the God talk here? So, Unitarian Universalists are pluralists. That means you can be an atheist. You can be a theist. You can be a Christian. You can be a Buddhist. You can be a Jain. You can be Hindu. You can come with what you believe, but you don't get to tell others what they believe. And that's the hard part of being a pluralistic community, is how do we do that faithfully, and how do we live with the differences that might cause some tension? So atheist can mean a lot of different things depending on who the atheist is. Well, I just don't believe in a God with a long white beard who lives in the sky and who's judging everyone. Well, I will tell you that God is the God of the patriarchy. That's me. For me, I hold a process theology. I see God, and when I use the term God, it is not an anthropomorphic God, not any kind of God that was woven in my brain, certainly growing up as the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. That was how I was raised. I don't see God in any of those terms, rather than God is the process, the movement that says, hey, you, pay attention, be kind, speak up. Make things right. Be a better person. Give yourself grace. Make this world a better place. That is what God is. And whether you call that conscience or ethics, I'm a big fan of using the word translate. Translate that word God, if you are an atheist, into conscience. How is your conscience guiding you? How are your morals guiding you? How are your values guiding you? What we have to do in a pluralistic community is to be flexible enough to allow people's faith to flourish for themselves so that they can find a path of healing, a path of joy, a path of justice for themselves and for their communities, and in whatever way they choose to participate in life. And we have to make space for the differences that are here and that we value so much.
And I love that idea of making space. This is something I've been thinking a lot about recently, and that is recognizing, respecting the validity of each other's paths, of each other's experiences growing up, of each other's outlooks on the world that were shaped by so many things, and just allowing each other to express things as we know best. You know, as Reverend Cara said, you know, we don't tell each other, well, this is how you should think, but we can speak in a way that is meaningful for us without insisting that other people use the same language, and we can let other people use the language that speaks to their hearts and be okay with that. And this isn't just a matter of etiquette. This is a matter of how we relate to each other. This is a matter of how we relate to each other with the utmost respect for each other and the utmost love. And so when someone speaks their language, even if it's not my language, it's an honor to hear because they're speaking their hearts. And so let's pay attention to what's in each other's hearts. And not feel trapped if it's not, you know, if it doesn't connect with our experience. That's okay. We still love each other.
Amen. You want to go? Do you want to do that one?
Yeah, sure. All right. How can I be successful in life? I like that.
For those online who might not have heard, that "marry up" came from the peanut gallery.
So, you know, one thing that has been kind of seen over and over is we all need a basic level of, you know, well-being, of you know, material goods and everything to, you know, basically to be well, right? But beyond that, what we also see over and over again is the most important thing is human connection. The most important thing, the most important indicator of happiness is human connection. And so, on the one hand, that speaks to the importance of being part of a community and connecting with others. It also speaks to, you know, one thing that I've seen people happen over and over is, you know, you retire and, you know, you've been pouring yourself into this job, and then it's like, now what do you do with yourself? And there's great times to do all these things you wanted to do. But what I've seen over and over is people realize, oh, they want to serve in some way or another. And it's finding that balance of, yes, finding joy in life and finding joy in service. And that's what I've seen. To me, that's sort of the foundation for a successful life. What say you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, success is one of those loaded words, kind of like God. What does it mean? What does it mean to you? So I think to be successful, you got to decide, you got to be a little intentional about it. What do you want to be? How do you want to be? Is being successful getting out of bed and getting a shower that day? Maybe for you that is. And I think ultimately it comes down to contentment. And you can have all the money in the world and still be totally discontented, as evidential by all the people still getting more and more money to do what with, I don't know. But success, I think, how to be successful is to define it for yourself intentionally, and then go find it. With grace, lots of grace. This next one says, my cousin called from India as we were driving to UCS. He lost his wife 5 months ago. Weeping, wondering if grief ever ends. Good question. And I think we know that grief maybe shifts, and that it is a constant thing, that this life is constantly heartbreaking. And at the same time, there are always moments of joy, a new life, new beginnings, places to find love and hope. So I don't think grief ends. It is part of the mortal coil, being here on this planet, which for some, and I like this theological idea, and it's called the realized eschatology, is that this is heaven. Where we are is heaven. We're called to make it heaven every day because it so obviously is not, but mostly based on the way that we behave, and some things completely out of our control. But appreciating nature and sunlight and air, going for a swim, they can all be balms through the grief. Connection, human connection, for sure. But I don't think grief ever ends. It ebbs and flows. And I think the elders here today know this better than I do. So it is, and I like to think of grief as a companion. She sits with us and reminds us how much we love and how hard it is to lose the things that we've loved and continue loving. We got a hand up. What do you want to say, Jeff? Yes, it is medicine to tell the story of your grief. Well put. Well put.
So have you ever been in the woods and seen a tree that kind of grew around the trunk of another tree or around a rock? That's an image of how our lives are shaped by grief. Sometimes we end up with this thing that just lands on us, and there's no escaping the weight, right? It's there. But our lives grow around it. Our lives grow around it, and we keep growing. We are changed. We are changed. There's no going back. It's always before and after. Always before and after. And yet we grow. We can still grow. We are different, but we can still grow.
One more? You want to?
No, you go ahead.
All right. Let's see what I got here. Well, this one goes very well from that. It says how to stay in the moment. Any tips? There's always before and there's only after. If you remember that, you're in the moment. So tips to stay in the moment. One thing I will say is that some of us have tendencies. We're all wired differently. And as we have learned about neurodiversity, that we all kind of function differently. We think differently. We process things differently. And some of us, I think, are more prone to be in the moment just naturally. And there are lots of practices to exercise that muscle that keeps you present. Presence, I think, is one of the most important things in ministry. People want to know that you're here, you're paying attention, not just to them, but to the community and what's happening in the world. So presence means opening your eyes, opening your ears, listening deeply, and doing your best to not wander away and to be right here and appreciate it. There was something I heard recently, and it said these 5 words are going to be, are key to happiness or contentment. These are the good days. Right now. You're not going to get them back, and they've never been here before. These are the good days. And if you can live with that and remind yourself of that, you got to remind yourself over and over again, because sometimes it does not feel like a good day. Right now, that not only cultivates presence in the moment, but gratitude and appreciation, which is really important.
So I'm a meditator, and been kind of studying this for a long time, and very different traditions. And it's funny, one of the most basic insights from the various traditions is, one way or the other, the simplest way to establish your presence in the moment is through the body or breath, to connect the mind and the body. And it could be just by taking a breath, stopping to take a breath and feel the in-breath, feel the out-breath. But if that's not comfortable, then just being conscious of, say, your feet on the ground. Or if you're sitting, the weight on the chair. But just connecting the mind with the body kind of pulls the mind in, it kind of reels you in, and it gives you a place where you can begin to be present. And like Reverend Cara said, we have to do this over and over again because our mind is always racing somewhere off into the future or into the past. But when we feel that happen, it's like we just bring our mind back to our physical presence here, and that connects us.
Yeah.
It's funny, Om is sort of, but it's actually true when, so when I sit and meditate, I usually begin with 3, Oms, or Om Mani Padme Hum, Buddhist. But it really does it shifts the mind because you're just sort of focusing on that syllable. And there's nothing magical about the syllable, it's just being present to it.
Yeah. So how y'all feeling? We're coming near to the end. One more question? One more. Any burning questions? Burning? You do?
Okay.
I wanted to ask a question about excitement.
Excitement.
How do we bring excitement to you as the community? I mean, I know each of us individually are excited, but we don't have something like salvation to scream about, right?
That's not right. Salvation. This is the saving faith. I believe that. You want excitement? I'm going to get there. Thank you, Michael. We are not saving souls from hell. That is not something we do. We're saving people from the belief that there is a hell that they might get sent to. And that alone is a saving faith. Yeah, grateful to our ancestors, our UU ancestors who saw through that. It is not present in the Bible. As I said, our tradition comes from a very close reading of the Bible. Both Unitarians and Universalists read the Bible, looking for what was put in there as tradition. But it came out as tradition about heaven and hell. I read the whole thing, and I'm going, where is it? Where is it? It's not in there. It's been read on top of it. It's been interpreted and pushed out from the clergy from years when most people were illiterate. Most people, that when the Gutenberg press came along and then suddenly people had access to the Bible for themselves and could start reading, that's when the Protestant Revolution happened, and all kinds of people were like, wait. I got this brain here, and it's telling me that this is not correct, that this tradition that you've been teaching us and telling us is true, and that we will go to hell, and we will blah, 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 and all these harmful theological stances that were just taught as truth. We now have the access and the use of our own brains and the use of our own ability to read, translate, and interpret. That alone, I think, is pretty exciting. I think it's exciting. And I do think it is saving. And I don't think that we talk about it that way very much. I think that we have a tendency to keep religious language and religious identity at an arm's length and say, I'm an atheist, how do I deal with God talk? Like, we have to make some growth within ourselves that is willing to be open to talk to Christians and say, you know what, you have something to gain by being a Unitarian Universalist. You can be a Christian, you can be here, and you can still have all the questions in the world and not have to live your life out of motivation of fear. I'm not really sure that answers your question. Okay. Generate excitement for UUism is a goal.
Well, I mean, the cool thing about Unitarian Universalism is we are in the business of making meaning of our lives, of making meaning of the human condition. What could be more exciting than making meaning? You know, received truths have their value. You know, they are the wisdom of, you know, many times and many thoughts, and that's great. But we get to make meaning. We get to look critically at what's going on in the world around us and say, how do we make this right? How do we bring more love? How do we bring more justice? How do we help people live a life that is meaningful to them and that contributes to the whole? I don't know, I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah! On that note, I think we're good with questions. It is 11, so let's, now let us sing. Why don't we rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our closing hymn, number 368. Now let us sing, which is not up there. It is on books, which should be around there for you. Now let us sing, sing. All right, sing, sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Love. To the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing joy with the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Wonderful, thank you.
As we prepare to conclude our service, you are invited to reach out your hands and hearts into the space of this community to join in a virtual circle inclusive of all. First, let us extinguish our chalice while we carry forth its light in our hearts. Please join us in our covenant. This congregation is dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences and beneath all our diversities, there is a unity that binds us together and makes us one in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause now in silent witness to that unity.
So Rilke said, to live the questions and don't try to grasp for answers. Yeah, I think he's wrong. So yes, I think we live the questions in the sense that when we have a question that's kind of pushing us, we follow it, right? We try to follow that. We try to find the answer in our lived experience. And I think it's great to arrive at an answer that we think makes sense for us, as long as we're willing to let go of that answer when life presents us, when life tells us otherwise, that maybe this way of thinking isn't really working. And so let's not be afraid of looking for answers, but let's just follow where life leads us. Let's make meaning. And most important, let's make meaning together. May it be so. Amen.
I have a few announcements. You are invited to hear a presentation of the results from our Living Our Faith survey, which was conducted back in April and May. This presentation will be held next Sunday, the 9th of August, after worship service from 11:30 to 12:45. So if you want to hear the results and have a discussion afterwards about what the results mean, please attend this session. Also coming up on Friday, August 14th, from 6 to 8 p.m. here, is an evening of food connection and shared visioning with Reverend Cara and with Reverend Tyler Coles, who comes from the Central East region, who is here to help us build together the ministry that Reverend Cara is going to create for us here at UUCS. So it's a way for making her potential be maximized. And so first off, we're going to have a get-together meeting with Reverend Tyler Coles, and just a gathering of all of us here on Friday the 14th from 6 to 8. But please, could you RSVP? It doesn't say how, but I guess it's in the Illuminate. There's a tab to confirm that you will be able to attend. Also, if you could, since it's a potluck, if you could bring something, also acknowledge that you'll bring something to this event. Following that, the next day, on Saturday, August 15th, there will be a workshop starting from 10 o'clock to 3:30, so 5.5 hours. And this is for those on the board, heads of committees, and other leaders of UUCS to work with Reverend Tyler Coles and Reverend Cara on visioning how we can move forward with Reverend Cara and ourselves to make UUCS even stronger. And again, this is something that we will need your RSVP on. Another item is parents and caregivers are warmly invited to join us for an RE parent meeting following worship Sunday, August 16th. We will share plans for the year ahead, answer questions, and connect to one another. RE registration is open now. A registration link is available in Illuminate, and you can also register that morning in the beginning of the program. We look forward to welcoming your family for a wonderful year of learning and community together. Lastly, we're going to be asking participation in another postcarding event that's orchestrated by John Gallant to get the vote out. And so we have postcards that are available that have already been assembled into packets at the back of the church, so that you can encourage those to get to the polls for very important elections later this year. And some of these postcards will be sent to voters not just in Virginia, but also in Georgia and North Carolina. So some people have already requested a certain number of packets, but there are, I think, extra ones out there as well in the back. Not yet? Okay. Next week, sorry. Okay, I'm speaking ahead of the game here. But please contact John Gallant, who does coordinate this event, and we usually have a dozen people involved. Writing postcards is a way of making sure that we all fulfill our civic duty. And I believe that's all the announcements. Thank you. What?
It's not, there's another one. We were looking at the wrong page.
Where is it?
Right here. This was page 8.5.
Right?
Yeah, this is an announcement.
Oh, I didn't realize that. The heading was on. Oh, on August 30th, we will have a lay-led service about our U.S. national parks and our experience in visiting them and how they have inspired us. There are several ways that you can participate in this service. So this is Sunday service. We will be hoping that several of you would be willing to speak for 3 to 5 minutes about your experiences related to parks and either your leisure time there or having worked there. If you have nice photographs of a park or photographs of your family that were taken in a park, you should submit them digitally so that we can display them during the service on the big board here. If your artistic medium is painting, or if you have paintings of parks, that would also be welcomed. If you don't want to be one of the speakers, but you have a shorter reaction to your experiences in being in a park, we could incorporate that as well into the service, because we're interested in all your different ways of sharing your experiences being in the park. Please let Rosalie Clavez know of your interest in participating. We're titling this worship service Ode to Our National Parks. So please join us in sharing your love for our national parks, which is truly a national treasure. And I think that's the last announcement.
I am very pleased to get to sing to you all for our closing music. I've chosen a song that I used to sing in the choir. It was my favorite way to end a service at Reston. This song comes from the music director, Suzanne Maziars, who is the music director at Neighborhood UU Congregation in Toronto. In 2014, it was submitted to the Silliman Contest for UUMN, which is now called AUUMN, the Association of Unitarian Universalist Music Ministries, which is just wrapping up today. It's happening this week in Milwaukee. So I have lots of friends who are there and I'm getting lots of reports. But this song came from that back in 2014, 12 years ago, and was a runner-up. But our music director, Nicole Hodges-Abbasi, who was at Reston at the time, brought it back because she loved it, and I love it too. I will be singing the melody, but it is a rich 4-part harmony. When it is sung together, it is beautiful. And it is called Wonder Blessing. May this wide world ever be new to you. The tiniest detail come clear. May the noise of the day recede. May you leave this place with space in your soul for wonder, magic, and love. May you feel the one in all that surrounds you. Blessed be. Blessed be. Be well, friends. Go in peace. There will be virtual coffee hour. Thank you, Rosalie. Stay around for hospitality and be well.